Our beans are done, our cornbread is out of the oven, but I love a little fresh, crisp pico de gallo. It adds such a sweet and hot and tangy flavor and marries into the flavors that we have in the cornbread and really cuts through the heaviness of those beans. So to begin with, we're going to use some tomatoes. Typically we'd use Romas. However, this is March 2020 still, and the grocery store has whatever it has. And you know, in retrospect, it's really how we all grew up. You couldn't just get everything you wanted at 3 o'clock in the morning. So nothing too much is different. Today we're going to use these little cherry tomatoes. They've been washed. I really don't have to go through and seed these or anything like that. We're going to put in a couple of handfuls because we like to make this fresh. You don't really want to make this too far in advance. The longer it sits, it just kind of muddies the flavors and it's not as crisp. These are kind of small, so I'm going to add 2 more handfuls. And you can always add as you go through. So that's a total of 4 handfuls. I'd say that's about 2 cups of these whole. To that, we're going to add 1/4 of an onion that's already been lightly chopped, 1 clove of garlic that's been crushed and sliced. We're going back to our candied jalapenos, and we're going to do a pretty hefty spoonful on this. I mean, you want that nice jalapeno bite in there. And I'm letting some of that juice go in there as well. And we'll measure this for taste in a moment. We're going to add a tiny touch, about 1/4 teaspoon of pure cane sugar. We're going to add about 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, about 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And to this, we're going to add some freshly squeezed lime juice. I'm going to add about 1 tablespoon at this point. We can always go in and adjust this later. And I'm going to add we're going to try it, we're going to start at about a full pinch of salt, which is about 1/8 teaspoon, and let's try it there first. We're going to put the lid back on the food processor. And we're going to give it a couple of quick pulses, see how it's coming together. Now, you don't want this real runny, so we can add a little bit as we go on. Now, that's pretty choppy. You can see it in here. We're going to add a little tiny bit of olive oil, and then we're going to adjust our seasonings. So we're just going to pulse this through. At this point, we want to try this. We want to take a look. And if you can see in here, it's all still fairly rough chopped. And we want to taste for our seasonings. I'm going to try this. Okay, so this needs a little bit more salt. And I do salt very carefully with this because it can go salty quick. That's 1, 2 more pinches. And I'm going to add just the tiniest bit, about 1/8 teaspoon of sugar. And to this, we're going to add a little bit of prepared ketchup. Now, you purists out there are going, what the heck? It is a nice addition to this, and you'll see if you try it. It gives a nice tomatoey base. And we're going to turn this on and just put this through as this is going. And we're going to kind of keep an eye on it. When we hear it kind of going liquid like that, that immediate sound of it went liquid. Okay, so at this point, it could be argued that this is more of a picante sauce than it is a pico de gallo. I think you're probably right. But the resulting flavor is going to be super nice, and it makes a great dip all the way around, as well as a condiment. So we're going to pull out a little bit, put it on our spoon. And it's really super nice. It's really crunchy, but it has that tomato sweet flavor in the back. And you could easily pour this over your beans and let it incorporate. Or you could use If you wanted to just do a big rough chop of tomatoes and jalapenos, you could always sprinkle that on as well. But this is a really nice addition to our meal. So we're going to take that, we're going to get these things out of the way, and we're just going to dish up a little bit. Now you could add cilantro if you would like. A lot of people in my family don't like cilantro, so I don't add it. I personally like it. They're of the group that thinks it tastes like soap. So we're going to take this, and that's going to be our pico de gallo or picante sauce, or just regular yummy tomato, jalapeno, onion sauce that's going to go with our beans and our cornbread.